welcome to Night Owl Collage. I'm Amber, and today I want to share with you a practice I usually do in my own personal journals. I think it's really fun, and it adds something to your own journaling and just gives it a little more interest, I think. And for those of you who love poetry, this is great. So I'm going to show you how I incorporate poetry into my journaling. So I'll show you a few examples. This was my very first, I've got to do some repair on it, with my very first junk journal project. So it's more like a little folio here. And I wasn't sure what to add. Oh yeah, see, this is coming, this is coming undone. This was supposed to be here. I got to repair this one. So what I did was made a little booklet. I love birds. So I made a little booklet of pictures and poems down here. So I have all kinds of, I've got like the hummingbird, and this one's Emily Dickinson poem, Be Like the Bird, the eagle, Mary Had a Pretty Bird. So I just added like a book of poetry of different bird poems that I could find. So I have this little poem book down here. So that was the first way I added poetry into my journaling. Another way I added poetry in was I made this huge journal for my son because he loves insects, and I actually used a book of poems for the base of the pages. So we have a praying mantis poem. This was like I think it was called Insectopedia, that had a bunch of insect poems. And so a lot of these pages have poems. I wrote this one in because I really liked it. So here's another one. So I just used it as a base for a lot of these pages. Here's another one here. The dragonfly used, so here's a base page here. Here's a journal card I did, and let's see. There's another one. So a lot of these, like, they had the picture and then the poem on the other side. So I just took the poem and I stuck it on the picture. And this one I made a pocket out of. This one I actually put the whole poem in here as a flip out. And so on the other side of it, he's able to write here. So this one I made into a pocket. This one I made into like a flip out here. So this one was really based on the poetry book. So I used that a lot in this one. In this one, this is a folio. I took a workshop called 5 Things, and every day it was writing a list of 5 things about something. And there was a lot of poetry within the workshop, and I really liked those poems. So I wanted to make sure I put in my favorite ones. So let me try to find one of them here. Let's see. I might have put them on. That was a 5 Things. Yeah, this was one. It's called Some Questions You Might Ask by Mary Oliver. So I just put it on the back of a tag, and so I was able to keep some of those favorite poems and quotes by putting them on tags. I think I put one on. Yeah, I did it very tiny on this one. So that was another, because I wanted it to go with those lists and kind of give it like I said, a little more interest and a little more emphasis. So that's another way I used poetry in here. And then this is my personal journal, and this is really just a true junk journal. It's just a bunch of you know, old pages thrown together, and I didn't do anything fancy for this one. This is just a daily junk journal. And so I just have just pages like these were like, this is, so let me show you this one. Okay, so this is one that I wrote a letter to my mom. She passed away when I was 19. So I wrote a letter to my mom over here. That's what that is. But so I had pages like this. So what do you do with pages like this? Let's just have pictures, you know, it doesn't feel like it has writing space, but it really does. Okay. So I really love these Beatles. And so this is a poem I found by Charlotte Bronte, and I really loved it. And I put this, I just typed it out and put it in here, and I wrote "Life is iridescent" because of these iridescent beetles. So that's what that reminded me of. And so just putting the poem and the simple phrase that told me what I was thinking about and where how I felt about things at that time. It obviously was a very happy and bright time for me, and you know, life can be iridescent. It really can. I just really like that page for that, showing me the way I was thinking at that point. And this is another one I really love. So I loved these fish. I thought they were so beautiful. I was like, what do I put here? So I just don't know. So I was thinking about this page, and so really you can think, you don't have to use poetry that's already been written and published. You can think of your own lines and think of just snippets and beautiful words and phrases that come into your head. So this is the same thing that I did here. So I was thinking about these fish and the way I was just thinking about them swimming and how light and free they must feel. And I just, this line just came into my head. Whenever I feel like I'm drowning in this world, God turns me into a fish. This is grace. And that was just the perfect fit for this. And this is one of my very, very favorite pages in this journal. That's I really, you know, sometimes I will use, you know, published poetry that I found really inspiring, or sometimes I'll just use my own lines or my own poetry. I haven't been writing much poetry lately, but I've got some things going on in my head so that are wanting to spill out. So I'll be trying to write some poetry here soon. The word celestial in the journal prompt has actually made the wheels turn. So some lines are coming into my head that I might want to use. Those are like just a few ways you can use poetry in your journaling. These are some of the poetry books that I have that I like to look through when I am thinking I want to add poetry. I've got Why I Wake Early by Mary Oliver, and there's a lot of nature poems in here, which really inspires me when I like to go outside and just spend some time in nature. So sometimes I like to use those, and sometimes sometimes I'll just tear the poem out and use it, but sometimes I'll type it out, sometimes I'll write it. I've got a William Blake book. This one is poems about insects. So you can see this is the second copy I had of some of the poems that were in my son's journal. Books like these are great for finding what you want, because this is favorite poems old and new. selected by Helen Ferris because they have subject areas. So if I wanted to find a poem about the seasons, about so here we go. My almanac, I have a poem about autumn by Emily Dickinson. So really easy. I love these books because they're really easy to find the subject matter that I'm looking for. So we've got fog, Thanksgiving, November night. So we've just got different subjects, animals, from the good earth growing. Let's see, my brother, the sun, my sister, the moon, the stars, and Mother Earth. So this might have something that I might want to use on my celestial page. Like we've got the creation, we've got the sun, the light is sweet. So I might want to use something in here that for celestial and perspective on that page. So these are really good. This one also, the Random House Book of Poetry for Children. Sometimes I might want something funny. We've got stuff about cats. We've got one for August, October. So we've got, let's see, nature, the 4 seasons, the ways of living things, home, nonsense poems. Let's see. So those are really good. These are 2 of my very favorite poetry collections. So there's poetry for children, but it's also for anybody. It's not just, silly children's poems. There are some really beautiful poems in here that you would find anywhere. So some are obviously for children, but some are for everybody. And they are also and these are collected by Carolyn Kennedy, and these are ones that, they have the subjects as well. So about poems about the South, poems about family, poems about friendship and love. So these ones I wouldn't tear out because they do have a lot of beautiful illustrations that I like just to keep it in this book, because these are favorites. So but here's ones about seasons. So I might pick one of these soon. But I think poetry is a really great way to add to your journals, and sometimes you just don't know what to say and you're just feeling something, and a poem will express that. When you don't know what to journal, pick a poem, and then you still know how you were feeling at that time, even if you didn't have the words. So I really like this idea of poetry in journals, and I hope you will give it a try. And let me know if you have any favorite poetry books or any favorite poets that you like to pick from. Hopefully whenever I pick, whether I want to do my own lines or maybe one of these poems in here from my celestial page, I will show you that as soon as I am done with it. It is started. This is the where I'm starting with, but this is just the front page, and then I'm going to have a spread like this. So that's where it started, and the poetry is going to be somewhere on the spread here. So to recap, you can make a little poem book inside your journal. You can favorite poems. You can add it to a tag. You can write it right on the page. You can use it as a base for a page, and you can use it as a replacement for your journaling if you don't have the words. So there's a lot of ways that you can use poetry in your journals, and I hope you enjoyed this and it has inspired you to read, write, and use poetry in your own journaling. Thanks for watching today, and I hope you found some inspiration and will give this a try. Have a great day, guys. I will see you again soon. Bye.